So how do we dimension an object that looks like this? If we assume that the front plane of this object and front face, that is, and the bottom face are two of the baselines, and then the third one will be this construction plane, front plane, because it's modeled around that plane symmetrically. So I'm going to go across to my drawing. Here it is. It's in first angle, so that is the front view and the top view. The first thing we need is a center mark on this hole and then a center line in these two views. So if you go to annotations and look for center mark and click on the hole, you'll get your center mark. And then just underneath center mark, you'll see one called center line. Click on that one. This will allow you to put a center line between any two lines. So we need one over there and another one down here. And this lower center line will be an axis of symmetry, which we'd normally mark with an CL on either end. We're not going to do that today. So this point here will allow us to infer all sorts of things if we put its position in. So in other words, from that line and from that line, we'll be able to infer the position of this arc and then these angles, because this center line indicates that there's a symmetry around it. So let's do that. Let's choose baseline dimension, and one of the quirks here is that you won't be able to dimension a line on its own. You'll have to go from a baseline to a point. So wait till the point activates. If it doesn't, just activate your filter, vertex filter. That'll make it a bit easier. And then deactivate it to go to the center point. Now you don't need to grab the center point. You can just grab the circle. Solidworks will know what you're looking for. In fact, it's easier to do it that way. So we have two in there already. We can put this third one in as well. It'll just pop it in between. All right, so that's step one. Let's do that again. Let's go from, using a baseline, let's go from this line to the circle. And then we need one more on this side. So that's correct, 20 and 60, because that indicates that that's our baseline. And to do the dimensioning on the lower item, all you need to do is make sure that you dimension across the center line so that you get a dimension that looks like this, because that axis there tells you that everything is divided in two. So whatever dimension you see, divide it by 2 to get whatever the distance is from the axis to one end or the other. And then from here, oh yes, we need an angle in here. So let's just grab one line, two lines, drag this out, and then you can just arrange this a bit better. And that is actually sufficient, other than the size dimensions, to dimension almost everything here. So we have a radius and a diameter. They are inferred from the positions 80 and 20. Thanks for watching.